so this whole civil rights thing is a big thing because there's the black-white paradigm right now. That's all everybody talking about. White people, black people, white people, black people, black people, white people. Right? And a whole bunch of us at school were talking about, well, where the hell do we as Asians fit into this thing? Right? What is our role? What is our place? And it was at that time, right, that we're told, right, the whole thing at the San Francisco State, S.I. Hayakawa starts talking about, right, Japanese people are model minority, right, blacks and browns ought to be like them, and blah, 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 right? And our own community people, right, JACL, or Japanese Business Association, talking about, yeah, we take care of our own, you know, we're okay. We don't have no problems. We're not like them blacks and them browns, right, those people. All that kind of stuff. And those of us who grew up on the west side, right, all of our friends, right, besides our Asian and Japanese friends, right, are all black, right? So they're challenging us. Hey, mama, you know, who are you? What side are you on? You know, what role are you guys going to play, right? And so this is a big thing amongst us, right? Talking about, okay, who are we? So we used to get together at this bar and argue all night long, right? And talk about what role do we play. And finally, we got tired of talking after a couple, 4 or 6 months of this stuff. So, well, let's go out and find out what we can do. So a whole bunch of us took off. We spread out, went to all kind of different places. My own experience was checking out some of the stuff that comes down from Malcolm and his nephew, right? They had programs going out in Watts and stuff like that.
Is this Malcolm X?
Yeah. And go down there. Everybody's nice, right? Nobody's rude or nothing, but sister tells me, pulls me aside and said, we appreciate you coming down here. She said, but you need to go look in the mirror, right? You ain't white. What's happening in your own community, right? So, wow. The hell's going on, right? So then I think about that. Then I go back and I report it to our group, and we talk about that. And a lot of our people are getting about the same thing. They're not being told to go get out, but they're being told, hey, look here, man. Check yourself. Then about that time, I get an opportunity to do this survey, or head up the survey in the Japanese and Chinese communities. And the survey has to deal with senior citizens in Little Tokyo, and senior citizens and children in Chinatown, latchkey children, right? Mom and dad, or mom, dad working wherever you can get a job, right? Probably in a restaurant, or dishwasher or cook or some bullshit like that, right? Mom working in the sweatshop. It's not like it was degraded. I'm not saying that. People were just poor, right? And they were surviving. They're getting by, but the level of oppression and deprivation is real high. It's so obvious. The whole issue of civil rights, the black-white paradigm, and where do we fit in, generates this whole interest in our own community. And then we're finding out there's all these goddamn problems, right? So, enterprising youth, right? Buckle down, right? Go out and decide they're going to do something about these problems. Not asking nobody, right? Nobody's permission, nothing. Not asking for money, recognition, anything. Go out there and start doing, making these programs, right? Helping each other, stuff like that. And by 67, 68, going concern. We've got all of this stuff going on, and so the question is, where are we going with all this stuff? What do we want? And then, a couple of the guys, Warren and Victor, are working for the JACL, so they get travel all over the country.
This is Warren Furutani and Victor Shibata?
Yeah. They go traveling all over the country, meeting all the young people, started doing the linkage work that eventually we take advantage of and create, our national Asian American movement. And Yeah, they come back and tell us that well, there's a concentration camp right up the road. Huh? Yeah, I know about that place. But there's this guy, there's this Reverend Maeda that been going up every year and stuff like that, and maybe we ought to talk about going up and supporting him and what you call it, and then there's some discussion around that. Then all this stuff comes out, right, about being why do you want to bring up the past, right? Why do you want to why do you want to criticize the government? Right? Why do you want to bring shame on our people? Right? Why do you want to? Why? Okay, no encouragement, right? And that's when, right, all over, almost spontaneously, right, this idea of yellow power. Right, this idea of self-determination, right? That's what yellow power represented, right? And self-help. We're already doing that, right? Developing our own programs and stuff like that, so that and we were going to take history. Right? That's one of the strongest Panther positions, right? Is that we're going to take our history, teach the real history of our people, right? And not have people tell us who we are. So the issue of self-determination, right? So that all comes together at Manzanar, right? So the first pilgrimage, they about 200 people or something like that. 200, hell, there was about 300 as far as I know, right? I went up with a busload. That's at least 60 people, right? Of 3 generations, Issei, Nisei, Sansei, right? Coming out of that was sponsored by the Pioneer Project, LA Pioneer Project. And yeah, and we camped overnight in the bus. You know what I mean? So everybody was together, and yeah, so we became, as far as most of us were concerned, we were full-fledged part of the American Revolutionary Movement for the civil and human rights, right? Or as Huey put it, right? We were for peace, justice, and equality, right? So, yeah, so we were part of the whole right movement in the United States for righteous equality. So we took our place along with the black, brown, red, right, and the yellow peoples all coming together. And you look at U.S. history, right, how the natives were treated right from Jump Street, right? So there always was this contradiction of dealing with people of color, right, and colonialism. So, but that's what the Europeans with this white supremacy stuff got away with, right? American exceptionalism. America ain't no exception from anything else in the world, right? We're part of this world. That first Manzanar period was very powerful, and the general Jim Matsuoka put it real clearly in scope in terms of what actually happened to us as a people. He said that in 1945 the war ended and they began to close the camps down, and we all left camp, but just our bodies left. He said, most of us left our souls there, and that's exactly what happened to us, right? If we had to find our identity as being honorary white or model minorities, then we sure as hell didn't have no soul,